I'm Craig, and I'm standing at the edge of your bed.
I'm Kylee, and I'm a non-human entity.
I'm Shandi, and there's a shadow person lurking in my basement.
I'm Chantel, and I'm lurking.
And this is Seance with my siblings.
So today we are talking about shadow people, and a lot of times people think shadow people are all evil. But I disagree with that because I've had some personal experiences where the shadow person didn't seem evil at all and nothing scary happened. Like they were just there. As I was doing research for this, I came across a self-proclaimed psychic medium on the YouTubes named Adela Levine, and she had some interesting things to say about shadow people. She said, not everything supernatural is scary and demonic, but people might want it to be because it's more fun that way if you're super scared, but that shadow people, they're just on a different frequency and they want to be seen, but they also don't want to scare us. So a lot of times, if it's family or someone, they're going to be a lot more subtle, someone that loves us and knew us. But if it's just like some rando popping in, they're just going to be excited. Like if you're more sensitive and can see them, then they're going to try to show themselves to you, but they also don't want to scare you, but also they want to be seen. And sometimes I feel like humans that have passed or non-human entities don't really know how to human around the living and not scare us.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
I have a personal account of a shadow person that I want to talk about. Where's my thing? Okay. So in the early 2000s, I lived in a shit-tastic apartment in Provo on 4th West. And during the daytime, it looked just fine. And the rent was amazing compared to the size of these huge 2-bedroom apartments. They were ginormous for apartments. Because at night, when everybody got home, there were all sorts of shenanigans. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a sex trafficking ring going on. There was a woman who incessantly yelled at her daughter that I caught the cops on quite a few times. It was just horrible. Those apartments sucked. They were rampant with drug use, and not all of our neighbors were horrible. There was some really good people there too that were awesome. However, one night I was home with just my oldest son. My ex-husband was working nights at a food manufacturing company. So I would be alone with my son until from 4 p.m. till around 4 a.m. I would always leave my bedroom door partially open so that my son, who was sleeping across the hall, could be heard if he needed anything. This night, for some unknown reason, I suddenly woke up and turned over to face the doorway instead of having my back to it. My eyes focused on the doorway and noticed a man's hand curled around it. A very solid, very real-looking man's hand. At first, my thought was that my husband was home early because a quick glance at the alarm... But a quick glance at the alarm clock said it was only 2:30 a.m., not time for him to be home. Calling out his name and becoming more fully awake, the hand let go of the door. Thinking he just went into the living room, I got up and followed him. However, the living room was dark and empty. Walking to the bathroom and flipping the light on, it was empty also. I was starting to freak out a little, so I hustled through the living room and turned the light on and into the kitchen and turned that light on as well, looking all over for this man whose hand I had seen. And then, you're panicked. So I finally raced into Xander's room, but also trying to be quiet, not to wake him up, but also freaking out that there is a strange man in there.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like still only half awake. So, yeah. So, I mean, there was no one in the apartment, just me and my son. He was just, I don't know, I think he turned 2 when we lived in that apartment. He had teeny tiny little hands. I am not a large human. I have small hands. So this big man's hand clearly was not us. Also, I was not hallucinating. Like, I woke up. It wasn't sleep paralysis. Everybody likes to blame it on, oh, you were dreaming. Oh, it was sleep paralysis. Blah, blah, blah. No. So I told my husband about what happened when he got home. And then ever since that time that I saw that hand, I noticed in the hallway of the apartment between the bedrooms, there was the shadow of a man just chilling. And that hallway was always kind of dim, but not dark, like you could see. But he was always kind of more toward the light part of the hallway and just hanging out. And he never felt malevolent. He never did anything weird. That was the only time I ever saw like a tangible manifestation of this guy. He just seemed sad. It didn't seem, he was just there hanging out, watching, and he just seemed sad. So I don't know why he was there, what happened. And this was before I had a computer at home that I could like Google and do research. That was not a thing. We didn't have a computer at home. I had to use my computer at work. And so that is one of the shadow people I've experienced that says to me, all shadow people are not demonic or scary or there to cause problems. Sometimes they're just there chilling. They just want to be acknowledged.
I feel like that's how the majority of like my shadow people experience go. Like they don't feel like malevolent or like mean or anything like that from what I've experienced.
Yeah. I know some people have said like they feel like the shadow people have like followed them. But once we left that apartment, he must have stayed there because I've never felt him or seen him since. And he had a very specific feel because I've seen other shadow people, but I knew they weren't him because the tattoo shop was riddled with shadow people. So, but that's another story for another time.
Yes.
All right, that's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay.
All right. So I don't have a whole lot of shadow people experiences, but I guess I'll start with, I believe that shadow people are more so of like a ghost-like entity rather than like, because I know people think that they can be like, there are theories that are like, oh, they're like from the future and they're just like in another plane of existence.
Ooh, okay. I haven't heard that one.
And they're just like, we can see them kind of like stone tape theory, but like happening now in like the future and or past, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And maybe that is part of, sometimes at least.
I think so. Even though from what I've seen, they seem more like ghost-like, I do like to gamble in the idea that they're like also coinciding with these other theories because like we don't know. Like we don't really know.
And we don't have we can't scientifically prove
Right.
any of this.
We
It's
can't.
just all personal experience that seems to happen often all over the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's odd.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have a little quote here from Jason Offa, author of Darkness Walks the Shadow People Among Us, and which I should probably read. That sounds like an interesting book. I'll have to pick it up. Definitely. But he says, many shadow people encounters do seem to mirror ghost encounters and are the most common type of shadow person encounters. A blacker-than-night human-shaped shadow that people see walking through their bedroom, hallway, living room, etc. These shadow people are most benign, usually not taking notice of those who observe them. Which that's how most of my shadow people experience go. So
They were just there.
they were just
Chilling.
there. They
Not
didn't
interacting.
Yeah, they didn't like do anything, and sometimes they'd even just kind of like disappear, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll just like stand in their little corner just being spooky boys.
Mm-hmm. Just lurking.
Just
Lurking
lurking,
in the
yeah,
corner.
as they do. That's
Forgetting
what they do.
that's creepy as fuck.
Literally.
Humans stand, right? I'm gonna just stand right here.
See, like, I'm humaning. Yay!
I did it.
I did it. It's not. This is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're doing it right. I also
the other shows got it.
They're just have their thumbs up. Like, you did it. Damn. But I guess some of my shadow people experiences, I've usually see them standing at like the edge of my bed, especially like when I was a lot younger. I would see them in the hallway if I left my bedroom door open, kind of just like standing in between my room and my sister's rooms. So that was always very creepy for me. I'd always like look up from the bed and I'm like, oh my god, like what is that? But it didn't like ever feel scary, like, or I guess mean. It didn't feel mean, and it didn't like ever come past the door frame, which was good for me. So
they were just there hanging out.
Yeah, they were just like
if they were trying
chilling.
to scare you, they would have done something.
They would have, yeah.
If they were just there existing and you happened to see them. And of course, that's scary for a little kid.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's funny you didn't like alert anyone. You didn't
I was
run.
petrified. Yeah, I was just like, under the covers I go. Yeah.
They protect you from everything.
Literally, that's how I thought. I was like, the covers will protect me.
That's how everyone thinks.
Yeah.
It's like this thin sheet will protect me
From the demon.
I wonder what like the thought process or psychology behind that is.
Because your bed is safe, and
It's
if
like
you're
comfortable.
fully
Like,
engulfed
it's so
in your
comfy.
covers, that's a magical shield between you and the
shadows.
rest. Yeah,
The shadow people. Yeah.
yeah,
And other things.
yeah. The monster in the closet,
Mhm.
the monster under the bed can't get you if you're fully in the covers and your feet
Exactly.
aren't hanging out. Or your
The
hands.
feet.
I know.
It took me
Yeah.
so long to be able to like have a foot out of the covers because it's so comfortable.
still
Like the
can't.
cold and warm.
I can have like part of my butt and leg out. I can finally have my hands and arms out. But I have to like kind of be like
Like
Oh,
kind of
like-
clutching a little bit.
Like self a cuddle.
yes.
Dang. Love that. That's always fun. Freaking man. Another experience, I do see them standing at the edge of my bed and kind of just like in the living room is where I've most recently seen a shadow person. But other than that, I think that's like the gist of what I've seen personally.
Didn't you see one just
Oh my
recently
gosh.
at the concert we went to?
I did see one.
Where was
In
that
the so it was at the Gateway in
Oh.
Salt Lake.
at? Yes.
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 So the funny thing is, there was a little dog party happening, which was so adorable. There were so many dogs just everywhere. So it was like kind of blocked off. So we had to take this little elevator to get to the like pavilion, like second story of like the area.
The mall is like an outdoor mall, and
Mhm.
there's a street level, and then you can go up and there's an elevated second level of the mall
Yeah.
Yeah.
that has outdoor promenades just for people who have never seen the Gateway.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yes, exactly. And so when me and Kylee were walking back, because we were just kind of exploring, we went to the store, a little market there. But when we got back to the elevator, I clicked, I think it was like P1, which I thought would take us to like the level floor, but it took us to the bottom of the elevator,
To the
to the
underground.
parking garage, like at the very bottom. Not even like the second one up or like any, it was the bottom.
The very basement level of parking.
And I
Yeah.
was like, damn. And as the door was opening, I saw a shadowy figure kind of just glide by. And when I looked out of the doors, it was just a hallway. Because at first I thought it was like a person because like the doors were like opening. So I was like, oh, like someone just like walked by. But I peeked around the corner and it was just brick wall. And I was like,
Right.
oh my gosh.
And there was no person.
There was no person.
There's no
There was no
person.
shadow person. Oh, just
They
the
were
little
just
glimpse.
walking by, minding their own
just-
business.
bopping around.
Like
but-
they do.
Like they
As
do.
they always do.
At least it wasn't standing at the edge of your bed.
Yeah. Those are the creepiest for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Has not
'Cause, like,
happened
why?
to me.
I don't think I've had a shadow person.
Not the edge of the bed, but the side of the bed. By
You're the
closet.
only one with that
Oh, great.
particular delight.
I've heard
Lucky.
other people's stories, though,
Yes,
that they've
yes.
had similar experiences.
Which I think is why so many people want to write it off as sleep paralysis.
Mm.
Because I've had legit sleep paralysis where like the old hag was holding my leg
Oh,
and I couldn't move and I couldn't alert Peter that this woman was trying to murder me.
yeah.
And she was fucking scary. And then I pulled myself out of it. I was like, oh shit, I hate that.
Oh, that's terrifying.
But she wasn't
Old
like leaning
hag.
on my chest because usually like they're leaning on your chest and you
Okay.
can't breathe
Yeah.
or move.
Yeah,
Spooky.
they were just standing there, like not doing
Holding
that.
my leg. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's like legit sleep paralysis. I
Oh.
was asleep, but
Yes.
my parts of my brain had woken up that usually are not active when you're sleeping.
Okay.
And that's what causes that. And I do believe that is just like a phenomenon with your brain malfunctioning. Thanks,
Mhm.
brains.
Yeah.
However, like a shadow person, like you're fully awake.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're like aware.
And you can move.
Yeah.
You can hide under the covers.
Exactly.
If you were having
Yeah.
sleep paralysis, you could not do that.
No.
Yeah.
Because you legitly cannot move. You cannot talk.
Oh.
Sometimes if you're lucky, you can move your eyeballs around.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like
annoying.
that makes it worse.
That doesn't
No.
make it worse. You
It's
can like look around the room.
It does make it worse.
Oof.
But also, that does not explain shadow people
No.
Nope.
where you're fully awake, able to
Uh-huh.
move,
Mhm.
able
Yeah.
to talk.
Vibing.
Yeah, they're just
Riding an
chilling.
elevator.
They're just
They're
walking
just-
past an
yeah.
elevator, they're just trying to find their
Walking
car.
through walls. Yeah.
Their shadow car.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes. Makes me think of like the Men in Black and their little buggy. That
Oh
drive
yeah,
around
their
in.
little old time black vehicles that they
Like that's how people
describe it
describe
like just
when they see
out of
Men
date
in Black.
everything.
Yeah. It's so out of date.
Yeah.
Like
Like not the men in black that catch aliens.
no.
Oh, that's not
Wait.
That's not the movie.
Have you not heard of like the Men in Black?
I don't believe so.
We'll have to talk about them. They're so scary.
They are.
Oh.
They're spooky boys.
There's more?
There's more. There's more. There's always
Okay.
more.
Well, I guess maybe that's our next episode.
Yes.
Or like the Black Eyed Kids. are
No, I
usually,
don't-
Like
I don't know that we
them.
should talk about them out loud.
Probably not.
Kids
We'll
are
have-
fucking creepy enough.
Yeah.
I've made 3 of them, and they've all done creepy bullshit.
As they do. So silly.
Children.
They're
Children,
so delightful.
children.
I love them, but they're creepy as fuck.
They do creepy shit.
They are
know.
creepy.
Especially, I think Xander and Chantel have been the creepiest.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
You're welcome.
Chantel's like, what?
I feel like I don't remember being creepy, but like it probably wasn't creepy to us because we were young.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't creepy to you because that was your normal to see shit
Yeah.
that no one else was seeing. And you're like,
This
whatever.
is just happening.
Just living in little Chantel land.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I have for you.
Thanks, Craig.
Welcome.
So my personal story is about a shadow man or a shadow person that was extremely grossly tall. So to set the scene, I am vacuuming. And vacuuming is the scariest mundane thing that you can do, especially in a haunted house.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't, it blocks your sense of hearing.
Mm-hmm. And if you're like turned, you've got the whole room behind you and you're turned, you can't like hear people sneaking up on
Mhm.
you. And that's spooky.
I always wonder if the sound that the vacuum makes is kind of one of those frequencies that causes paranoia. I never researched that. It just occurred to me right now.
Maybe.
Because-
I feel like it could be. I very
Yeah,
much
everybody
dislike
gets weirded out when they're vacuuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's interesting.
It is really
That
interesting.
is something I think
We should look into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this room, there's a window on the north wall and a window on the west wall. So there's like 2 windows that I can see from my vantage point where I'm vacuuming the room. I was just doing my thing, vacuuming, and I kind of felt like a weird heavy feeling and like I should look up. So I looked up and I see this extremely tall shadow man walking past the window. I actually went
On the outside.
on the outside of the
Okay.
house. Yes, on the outside of the house. I actually went out and measured the windows, and this shadow person would have had to be like over 7.5 feet tall because the top of the windows are 8 feet and his head was almost touching like the top of the windows.
So his shadow is
almost 8
only
feet tall.
almost 8 feet tall.
Mhm, yes.
Oh.
He was grossly tall.
Not regular.
Not regular. So I watch and the vacuum is still going, giving you that awful like
that horrible noise.
And he walks from the north window around the house to the west window and then just is gone. And that was not the first time that was the first time I had seen him. This was not the only time that I saw him. So there are also 2 big outward facing windows in our front room. One time I was just sitting on the couch and I got that same like heavy, weird feeling. And I looked up and out the window, there he goes, like super tall, just walking past the windows. I've also seen him out another window. So he's always outside. He's never in the house. He's always outside. We have a shed in our backyard and this shadow person will just like stand at the corner of the shed. And usually it's like afternoon or nighttime.
No, I've
like
seen
twilight?
him there. I've seen him there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, the twilight.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
This is the
But
skin of a killer.
yeah, so that's my experience with the extremely tall shadow guy. That's
Somehow loves to just chill out here.
yeah, he likes to be outside. He likes to walk around the house. I have theories about like him as an individual. This is not all shadow people, but he's potentially like of the land, not of the house, not of us, but of the land, a sort of guardian or just like an entity that exists
right, but
on this land.
Maybe potentially has never been human.
Yes, exactly, a non-human
Or
entity.
maybe interdimensional, maybe elemental.
Yes, and that's actually I got a little blurb about my theories about all shadow people.
Okay.
No, but that was a good segue.
Segue.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So my theory is that most shadow people, not all, because I think like there are instances like maybe this is just like a spirit or a person that's like passed on.
I'm sure there are some malicious entities that present as shadow people.
Yes.
Because they like know. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Because they're like fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like, this is some scary bullshit I'm about to do. Yes.
But I think a lot of them are actually just non-human entities that never were, never have been, and never will be human.
Mhm.
And they just, like, that is their existence. That's what they are.
That wouldn't be so bad.
Mhm.
We didn't have bills.
Just no bills,
Vibing.
just shadowing.
No government bullshit
No
that I
government.
know of. I mean, I hope they don't have to
Oh,
deal with that. Aw.
that-
Can you imagine?
You have our sympathy, shadow people, if you have a government.
and like bullshit that you have to deal with.
And bullshit that you have to
rather
deal
than
with.
just like chilling on your land,
Mhm.
observing, creeping people out.
Straight vibing.
Yeah.
Sounds like the dream.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Right? When I grow up, that's what I want to be.
I want to be a shadow person.
There's also the theory that they're like interdimensional beings.
Mhm.
So this is like gonna sound really stupid, but I was reading an article and it was like, we exist in 3 dimensions. And I was like, huh? What? We exist in 3 dimensions? And okay, I'm gonna give you this quote that explained it that made me be like, oh, I'm just a dumbass.
Oh,
Uh, so we live in a world of 3 dimensions. We
Yes.
move through space, either left or right, forward or backward, up or down. Everything around us, from the houses we live in to the objects we use in everyday life, have 3 dimensions: height, length, and width.
oh, that makes sense.
Which makes perfect sense, and I understand when it's explained that way, but I had no idea that, like, the way it was described is, like, existing in 3 dimensions.
Right. You're
you, like,
like
thinking-
thinking interdimensional.
Yeah, I was like, huh?
They were just being too simple for you. Because you're like, mind blown. That's so cool. How?
Like they know
Yeah.
about this?
I know,
What?
I was like, what's the science? I'm so intrigued.
And then you're like, wait, yeah, no shit. We live in a 3-dimensional. Like, there's physical
Yeah,
objects
like
you can pick up. It's not like
3D.
flat,
Yeah.
like 2 dimensions on a drawing on a paper.
But yeah, I went from like mind blown to be like, oh.
Oh, that wasn't cool.
But yeah.
Like, no shit, we live in that.
But with this theory, there's like dimensions that are not those sorts of dimensions, but they're like
Mhm.
interdimensions that people or shadow people or other entities can travel in between. And these dimensions are like either parallel or like super close to the dimension we exist in.
Mhm.
And that's that theory. But if there are other dimensions or things that can travel between dimensions, who or what are they and why do they do it?
Because they can.
Probably.
Yeah.
Why do we do anything? Because we can.
Free will. And if they are interdimensional, do they only look like shadows to the naked eye
Hmm.
because they're between dimensions?
Right.
That's interesting.
That, yes, kind of goes along with the psychic I was listening to. She talked about the veil. And she's like, it's not like people describe it as. It's not. It's like sometimes you can consciously lift it and see more, or it can be in place. Like, it's just like a membrane between the dimensions. It's not like anything like people say it is. Like, the veil is thinner. She's like, you can make the veil thinner.
Oh yeah,
It's
you
just,
can 100% make the veil thinner.
Right,
That's
it's
what I
just-
do every day. Like,
yeah, certain times of year, though, people are more aware, and that's why they think it's thinner, like on Samhain or other holidays where we're thinking of loved ones
Yeah.
and the other side.
The other side.
But
in
it's like
October, the veil is definitely
that's-
thinner, but I think it's because people are more aware
every
of
the
Halloween,
collective
the
consciousness
veil,
is thinking of
ghosts,
it, right?
and stuff.
Which
Yeah.
just
Or
says
it
like,
could just be like cycles. Like
mhm.
humans have so many like internal cycles. Like women have their menstrual cycles. There's like
No, that's a myth.
oh fuck.
Yeah, that's just a
Am I
theory.
doing this wrong? Am I doing it wrong?
Yeah.
Or like our circadian rhythm is a
Mhm.
cycle, something we go
sleep,
through
yeah.
every day. So it would make sense that the world itself and the veil,
Everything has
around
rhythms
us
and
has
cycles.
rhythms
Yeah.
and cycles.
I
Exactly.
mean, Pocahontas has like a song about it.
yeah, she sure does.
She sure does. Okay. Sorry.
No, that's it for me. Yeah, yeah.
Yay.
All right, so my story takes place after a slumber party I had with my friends.
Should we introduce you?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
This
hello,
is
I'm
our-
Chantel.
yeah,
this is
she's-
the littlest sibling.
She's our youngest, sweetest sibling.
Sweetest. Okay,
I
we'll
mean,
go
to
with
me,
it for
she's
now.
really sweet, so I don't know about you guys.
The youngest.
The youngest,
For
yep.
sure. Nah, she's a sweetie sometimes.
Well, we've never lived together, so I've never
Yeah.
tortured you like I tortured my other siblings. I have siblings that you don't have, so I tortured them. Anyway,
Yes.
but yeah.
But this is Chantel,
This
the
is
youngest
Chantel.
sibling.
He's
Hello.
The youngest.
So, my friends had just left the house, and I went to go back to my room because your girl is tired. And I'm sitting on the bed, and in normal slumber party fashion, empty popcorn bowls and chip bags are littering the sides of my bed. And my dog goes to grab the chip bag and pulls it under the bed. So, I go to look under the bed and grab the chip bag from my dog. When I see a shadow woman under my bed who had pulled the chip bag, and I look back up to the top of my bed to see my chihuahua sleeping peacefully at the end of my bed.
So this was not the dog,
That was not the dog, no.
but that would be so cute because the chip
Oh.
bags are like as big as mouse.
Yeah.
She could have been inside of it. That's what I was expecting, but
Instead, you thought,
shadow woman under my bed, curly hair, yeah.
Ooh, you like saw what her hair looked like. Okay.
She had like very like prominent hair. It was probably the most prominent. And she was very like, from the other shadow people I had seen, she was very dark, like very, very black.
Like the blacker than black.
Yeah, blacker
Because
than
it was
black.
under your bed, so
Mhm.
it's already
It's
dark.
already dark.
Yeah, so she's darker than under the bed. My lights are off because I'm planning on going back
Oh
to sleep.
shit! So it's really dark.
So
under your
she
bed.
is dark. My TV is on though. That's the
Okay,
light
so
in
it's
my-
some ambient lighting up under the bed,
Yes.
slightly.
But when you can like see it's like darker than dark, like you can see the silhouette of it, that makes it even
And she
worse.
has such distinct features that you can see that her hair is curly. I don't think I've ever noticed hair on a shadow person.
No, that is the first shadow person I've ever seen like hair.
Mhm.
They're usually just like a shape, a figure.
Right. They just
Unless
look like a
they're-
humanoid figure.
Yeah, unless they're like the Hat Man or something.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's why I thought it'd be fun to tell this story because she is so unique from
Right.
the
I've
other
never
shadow
heard
figures I
anyone
have
say
seen.
that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is wild. And then what happened? You looked up and saw your dog.
Mouse, I look back under, she's gone.
Like
As
they
they
do.
do.
Yeah.
She's like, oh shit, she caught me. I just wanted some chips.
I was like even more
Mood.
shocked because like it was just like I know I saw it, but like it's more clarifying when you realize nothing else could have got the chip bag
Right.
and pulled it under
The dog's asleep.
The
It's
dog's
just
asleep,
you and the dog
yeah.
in the room. And it's not like Mouse isn't subtle.
Yeah.
She's so little, jumping up on the bed is
Mhm.
distinctively noisy.
Yeah, she's even old now, so she can't get on the bed herself. So
How long ago was this?
Yeah.
like probably like freshman year of high school.
Okay, so
Okay.
maybe around 4-ish years.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
So Mouse probably could get up on the bed by herself then.
yeah, she
Mhm.
could have.
But not now.
Yeah.
But it's noisy. She's even
And
though
now
she's
she's
tiny.
claws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
she makes
She's got-
distinct little noise on the hard
She has
floor.
little tappies, and when she
Yeah.
does her happy feet,
Yeah.
Cute mouse.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's so cute.
Her little paws are like could fit inside a quarter.
Oh,
I just
she's
die
tiny.
over
Yes.
her little feet. It's
Yes.
So her little beans.
Toby.
Anyway, so it wasn't mousy. It was just a creepy lady wanting
Yes.
some chips.
But the bag was empty. She was probably disappointed.
Oh,
Probably.
rude.
That's probably why she left.
She's like,
Yeah.
fuck you guys. Fuck you and no more chips.
And that kind of goes back to the, like, they don't realize that they're being spooky.
Like being
Yeah.
under the bed. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Under the bed isn't normal, yo.
Yeah.
She's
They're
like, oh, she's on top of the bed.
humans
I'll be under the bed.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
want to be in her
Yeah.
space.
That
yeah.
was like my wooden bed frame, if you guys remember it. So like under it was very spacious too.
Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember it.
Like if
Sorry.
I were to go under that bed frame, like as me, like I could probably put my hands like up this.
It could be like a little club.
It was a high bed
Okay.
frame, if you guys
Mm.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All
That's
right.
wild. And
That is-
so maybe we should. So I think the Hat Man gives shadow people the worst name.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I feel like if an entity was being a little shit and wanted to scare people just for funsies, not even that they are anything really negative, they're just
Mhm.
a prankster. If it were me, I would show up as the Hat
Yeah.
Man. I'd be
Right?
like, come on,
Like-
bitches. Woo!
Yeah.
I'd have a really ridiculously big top hat.
Yes.
Kind of like
Yeah.
Mad Hatter style.
Yes.
As you should.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh. Well,
yeah, you two have an experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk
Share
about that
one.
today?
All right. So should I start
Chantel's
it off?
going right in. Okay, I guess
Yeah.
we're talking about it. Okay.
So, me and Kylee were hanging out in my room, sitting on my bed. I was on my Switch. She was,
I was scrolling the TikTok.
yeah, she was scrolling through TikTok. And I'm playing on my Switch, and I can't beat the level. So I put it down. I look up, and in my door frame, I see this tall black figure that's taking up like the whole door frame. Like, very tall. And I go to Kylee and I'm like, do you see that?
Yeah, it was like in a horror movie, like when they have the realization and they're like, do you see that?
And she says no at first. And I'm like, look again. Do you see that? Like, look.
And I was like, what am I looking at? Because it just looks like it's super dark out of the door frame, like it's like nighttime. And then this shadow moves. And I realized that there's like light coming from
Plugs
the
into
window.
the room.
The like I can see the microwave light now. Everything's all like lit up. So whatever it was that was standing in the door frame
Ooh, chills.
was just blocking out
And
all
it
the
was
light.
opaque.
And it was opaque.
It's not a
Yes.
see-through,
Yeah.
shadowy person. This is a dark figure that is
Mhm.
opaque, blocks out light.
Yes.
Yeah, so you just thought it was dark.
Yeah,
I
I
was
just-
like, look.
It's just dark.
I didn't realize because it just looked like it was nighttime.
Mhm.
So it just looked like, it was
what? It's just dark
yeah.
out there.
I was like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to be like seeing? Like what
And
what
then
do
it
you see?
moved. And then it moved, and then
And then
you
it-
saw
yes,
what you
Oh.
saw.
yes.
And Chantel like knows what like outside of her room looks like.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
Yeah.
probably why I
Yeah.
noticed it so much, but like also like I am like a medium and I can see stuff, so I'm very aware.
What did the energy feel like?
I feel like it just kind of felt watchy, like it wanted to like
Yeah.
observe what we were doing because like it's
Mhm.
just watching us like play games and scroll on TikTok and
So
like
you were startled just because you weren't
average
expecting
sisterly
it, but it
combo,
wasn't
yeah.
necessarily putting off any.
no, I
like-
think it moved because it realized we both noticed
Yeah.
it. Because like
Mhm.
after Kylee, I think had noticed it, it left. Like
Yeah.
I was
Shit,
like,
you can
oh
see
shit,
me?
bye.
Yeah.
Which-
Afterwards I did have like goosebumps though for like
Well, yeah,
10
that would be
minutes.
weird. It's always unsettling because you're not expecting it. 'Cause
Yeah.
ghosts and spirits and shadow people and whatever the hell is out there, they just kind of show up whenever they feel like it. They're on their own time frame.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why
Yeah.
you don't have to ghost hunt at night. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can ghost hunt anytime.
Yeah, they're always.
Yeah.
There's stuff around all the time.
The shadow person I saw, it was like sunset
Broad
time.
daylight.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, still
Yeah,
daylight.
like I could see it, like it was the pretty orangey sunset colors
Mhm.
outside.
Yeah, I would see the shadow person in the hallway all day long. He was just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was completely sober. There was no psychoactive substances. I was not smoking the devil's lettuce. I was not drinking nothing. It's just a normal,
Sober.
regular day
Yeah.
where I was parenting and being a regular human.
Mm-hmm. It probably just makes people feel better to be like, oh, it's not going to come out
Like an
till
explanation.
nighttime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
They're always.
I feel like that makes me feel worse because then it's just like a time frame to be scared of. Like, I would rather be aware that they're always there.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh shit. Like on
Like-
Silent Hill when the night comes and the sirens start and it's like a whole time you have to be afraid of
Yeah.
and get into the creepy church by.
Yes.
I just watched that movie.
I have
and I was like,
never
oh my
watched
gosh,
it.
it was good.
Yeah.
I wasn't, like, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The nurses are so fucking scary.
The
So
nurses
scary.
are so scary.
I'm like, I love my kids, but that would be hard. In my memory, I don't know how the mom went through that basement just on those directions.
I'd be dead. I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah. And then and then,
Oh,
and then-
there's
But wait.
there's more. We were over here researching a little more yesterday into shadow people theories, and we actually had a couple of weird things happen.
Occurrences.
Yeah. So my printer
Oh no.
just started to print like a whole 180-page document.
No. What was
Um,
the document?
Just my draft.
Oh, okay.
And I went in and I canceled it and I like reset my printer, and then it was just like an hour later.
Like a little bit of.
Yeah.
We were
quite a
talking about
bit of
shadow
time
people and stuff again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I hear it going off again, and it's like page 43. Yeah, like a random page number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just starts printing again. And so I go into the room and I'm turning the printer completely off this time.
Mhm. I would have unplugged that bitch.
I didn't. I should have. But as I was closing the door, so like my printer's in my little like hobby hoarding room. It has like a door that like opens outwards for my little stairs. I was going to close the door and I feel it tug backward to not close the door. Yeah. And
Ooh.
Craig said he saw that happen like out of
Like I saw the door, like,
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
awkward.
Right, like someone was on the other
Mhm,
side
mhm.
pulling it, and you're not expecting it, so it's easy to jerk it out of your hand. Because
Yeah.
you're just like closing it. You're not like
Yeah.
death grip on it.
Yeah. But yeah, so
It's
perhaps I already Palo Santo'd, but now after we
wild.
after we've talked about this all again, I think I'm going to.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Are we becoming the world's most haunted podcast?
Mayhaps.
I already feel like we're just haunted
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Shandi.
We're already the
Yeah.
world's most haunted siblings.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And we've all grown up. Every house I've ever lived in has had something.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my townhouse in Provo did not.
Mm.
No. But I did have a human stalker when I lived there. So that
Oh,
was
they're the
a
trade-off.
yeah. You don't have ghosts, but you're going to have a stalker that is going to try to abduct you and your son from the cemetery.
Even worse than
Even worse
Yeah.
than
People.
ghosts.
Yeah.
People are
People are way
people are
scarier.
way scarier than the supernatural.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well,
That's
was
our episode.
on our
Thank
shadow
you.
people experiences.
If you guys have any experiences you want to share,
Ooh, we have an email.
We do
We
have
do
an
have an
email.
email.
It's seance with my siblings at gmail.com.
.com. Yes.
And seance is spelled
SEANCE.
bye.
bye.
Bye.